and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
You're still on to NTA Network News. Nigeria and the Republic of Niger have signed a memorandum of understanding on hydrocarbon pipelines and refinery projects aimed at creating a more favorable investment opportunity in the downstream sector in the two countries, as well as enhancing cross-border economic development. At the ceremony witnessed by President Muhammadu Buhari and the Nigerian President Muhammadu Isufu, technical and steering committees for the project were also inaugurated. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, signed for Nigeria, while the Nigerian Energy Minister, Fumakaye Gado, signed for his country. The mutually beneficial strategic initiative driven by the existing friendly relations between Nigeria and Niger comprised the construction of crude oil pipelines from the Republic of Niger to Nigeria, as well as the establishment of a new refinery at a border town in Katsina, Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari and his Nigerian counterpart, Muhammadu Isufu, promised every support of their respective governments towards the successful execution of the projects with vigor and determination.
Nigeria sees this cooperation on crude oil export from the Republic of Niger and construction of refinery facilities in Katsina State as a win-win for both nations. The initiative will not only provide a reliable market for the stranded crude from Niger Republic, but will also provide petroleum products for Nigeria as it aggressively pursues its aspiration on petroleum product self-sufficiency.
It is also necessary also to say that it will strengthen the political, economic links as well as socio-cultural links which our countries have undertaken to develop. Let us therefore commit ourselves to this enterprise, and may God bless our two people and our two countries.
During the event, President Buhari inaugurated the joint steering as well as technical committees for the projects and given up to December this year to come up with a detailed roadmap and implementation guidelines. These include bankable feasibility studies, optimal project site and pipeline route details, as well as selecting consortia of investors for both the pipeline and refinery projects.
It is my hope that the current frontier exploration efforts in the northern part of the country, Chad Basin, Gongola Basin, Sokoto Basin, Bida Basin, and Benue Trough will also result in the provision of additional hydrocarbon inflow to the corridors of the proposed pipelines and a potential refinery around Kaduna axis.
The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, who announced the receipt of several expressions of interest from prospective investors, also enumerated the benefits derivable from the projects.
Once the refinery is built, we expect that employment will improve, we expect that the income streams of both countries will improve, we expect that product availability, especially in downstream would improve, and so some of the difficulties we're having in terms of meeting our product needs will reduce.
By one of the investors who are willing to invest almost $2 billion. The funds are coming from abroad, from major investors from the United States, Canada, England, and the Middle East. And it's going to be like a 50,000 barrel refinery, which eventually we intend to scale it up to 100,000 barrels with the feedstock crude coming from Niger Republic.
For us in Kaduna State, this is a very memorable moment, and we look forward to full implementation, as it will provide economic benefits to our people and social benefits. It will also go a long way in bringing our two peoples together.
And we must at this point commend and congratulate Mr. President because of the fact that he has done, one, restored state confidence for the country Nigeria, for foreign investors to even begin to come back to Nigeria and make investments. On our own part as the National Assembly, this is strategic, and I believe this will work out very well for our country and for our democracy.
It will be recalled that President Muhammadu Buhari in the year 2016 developed and launched the 7 big wins aimed at repositioning the Nigerian oil and gas industry with refinery and local production capacity as the 4th priority in the roadmap. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, says it will uphold the rule of law in order to strengthen internal democracy in the party. APC's Deputy National Chairman North, Lawal Shuaibu, made the declaration at the distribution of empowerment materials to members of the party in Bauchi. Mahmoud bin Muhammad reports.
Initiated by the government of Bauchi State, the empowerment program targets women, youths, and less privileged members of the All Progressive Congress in the state. Aimed at making the beneficiaries self-reliant, the Deputy National Chairman North of the party, Lawal Shuaibu, says the poverty alleviation program is in line with the constitution of the APC.
Mobilization, empowerment. We mobilize people and empower them. And the governor of Bauchi has been able to achieve that, and he invited us. To tell you, this is the first time we are coming out, apart from elections. Nothing took out of Abuja since after the last convention. This is the first official outing by the National Working Committee, because it touches on what the party assigns to us, to mobilize people, sensitize them, and empower them.
On his part, Governor Muhammad Abubakar noted that his government is working towards consolidating on the developmental strides of President Muhammadu Buhari, which, according to him, has brought Nigeria back to its position of eminence. In Bauchi, Mahmoud bin Muhammad, NTA News.
The joint military operations towards curbing banditry and cattle rustling in Birnin-Gwari, Kaduna State is receiving a boost as the Nigerian Air Force promises to intensify air surveillance in the area. Suleiman Abdullahi Regachku reports that the Air Officer Commanding Training Command of the Nigerian Air Force, Kaduna Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Idris, stated this in Birnin-Gwari, one of the security flashpoints in Kaduna State.
For some time now, Birnin-Gwari has been in the news following incessant armed robbery, cattle rustling, and banditry, necessitating military operations in the area.
This visit by the Air Officer Commanding Training Command, Kaduna, is to serve as a morale booster, not only to the community of Birnin-Gwari axis of Kaduna State, but also the various military formations that are on ground to maintain security in the area.
Responding to the request by Emir of Birnin-Gwari, Zubairu Jibril Megwari II, for the provision of air base by the Air Force to strengthen its air operations against the bandits, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Adamu Idris assured the community of intense air surveillance to deal with the security challenges bedeviling the area.
We, as members of the armed forces all over the country, are very concerned about the insecurity ranging from Maiduguri down to Makodi, to Birnin-Gwari, Funtua, Zaria, and the rest of them. And the Nigerian Air Force has been in the forefront to find a solution, or to at least assist in any solution I put in place to curb these excesses of miscrimes in our nation.
At the 2nd Battalion headquarters of the Army, the AOC enjoined the combatants to remain resolute in the discharge of their assignment. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
Elizabeth in Lagos has the next set of stories on NTA Network News. Elizabeth, over to you.
It's nice to see you, Kudu, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Online publishers and social media influencers in the country have been enjoined not to allow their platforms to be used in promoting fake news. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the appeal at a stakeholders meeting in Lagos. Anthony Forson reports.
The forum is in continuation of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture sensitization on its national campaign against fake news. Addressing these online publishers and social media influencers, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said the campaign is aimed at bringing to the front burner the dangers fake news poses to the peace, security, and the corporate existence of Nigeria.
As a multi-ethnic, multi-religious nation, Nigeria cannot afford an unbridled spread of fake news. This phenomenon is exploiting our fault lines to aggravate the crisis in our country.
While the federal government, he said, will deploy all information dissemination tools at its disposal to ensure that fake news is shunned to stem the tide, hence the ongoing dialogue to keep credibility.
Because all you need to make any news go viral these days is a phone and access to the internet. That's a free ticket to any of the social media platforms. Therefore, we are here today to dialogue with you as critical stakeholders. Your credibility and indeed your source of livelihood is at stake. If society loses confidence in the media, especially social media, because of fake news, you'll be the one.
The minister pointed out that two things should be observed to detect fake news, which are checking the credibility of the source and resisting the temptation of sharing any information whose source you can't vouch for, stressing that the war against fake news is a must-win. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The federal government is extending the Lagos-Ibadan Rail project to Apapa. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi says this is part of measures to facilitate the movement of goods from the nation's by rail. Dotun Ogunyemi has details.
The minister, who briefed newsmen shortly after a closed-door meeting, said the decision to bring the extension, originally designed to be in a second phase, forward was informed by the need to address the near stagnation of activities along the Apapa Port axis due to gridlock.
The contract is broken into two phases. The first phase is Ebute Metta to Ibadan. We believe that they should be able to complete that. We also believe that they should also be able to complete Apapa to the seaport. But even if they don't complete Apapa to the seaport, we can go ahead and begin commercial activities from Ebute Metta to Ibadan, which is the original contract, actually. It was this government that said, look, all railways must terminate at seaports. So that one, if they finish it on time, we'll go with it. If they don't, we'll commence commercial activities from Ebute Metta to Ibadan. But work is progressing rapidly from Iju to Ibadan.
The minister and his team took a train ride to inspect existing rail infrastructure and assess the scope of work. At the Apapa train station, the minister ordered the demolition of the existing structure.
That way, you can have warehouses. You can also have a better and bigger station that will accommodate malls and hotels.
The minister expressed confidence that the contractors will deliver the project on time. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this time out. Stay with us.
The first question I asked was,
where have you been all my life?
Since then, we have taken every step together. We enjoyed having a pillar of support.
Four, actually. Especially when the kids were schooling abroad. Oh, how we made it through those years.
We've grown together, and we really wouldn't have come this far alone.
chemistry is amazing. When we share the same passion, the same drive.
Yes. And the same vision to succeed.
Everything is so smooth. No drama, no stress, no story.
In fact, we're practically family.
Let's help you achieve your visions and aspirations, milestone by milestone.
FCMB.
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 FCMB, my bank and I.
Uh-oh, maybe he's not comfortable in his diaper. New Molfix Comfort Fix Flexible Side Bands offers freedom of movement. Molfix, happy today, happy tomorrow.
Ah, not again. We had the same problem. Try new Molfix.
Molfix absorbs the liquid immediately, even under pressure. Molfix, happy today, happy tomorrow.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain. Fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Welcome back to NTA Network News Studio here in Abuja. Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria rose from its mid-year session with a majority resolve to maintain policy rate at 14%. And the Nigeria Stock Exchange records negative sentiment at the close of trade. Amina Nigerian has details on business news.
Hello and welcome to Business News. Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee has retained monetary rate MPR at 14% as well as retained other policy parameters of the economy. The Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele said after the 262nd MPC meeting where 7 out of the 10 members voted to hold all key policies after careful exhaustion of options before them. The cash reserve ratio was retained at 22.5%, liquidity ratio at 30%, and asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR.
That raising interest rate at this time would weaken consumption and raise the cost of borrowing to investors in the domestic economy. In addition, the policy would trigger repricing of financial assets by deposit money banks and further constricting to the real sector that will promote non-inclusive growth without development.
The MPC noted with concern the drop in foreign reserves and called for the speedy implementation of the 2018 budget and the ERGP, as well as a long-term solution to the incessant herder-farmer clashes. The CBN governor described the economic outlook for the second half of 2018 as positive. In the meantime, trading from the Nigerian Stock Exchange saw the equities market close in the red, depreciating by 0.70 basis point, despite the OSHA index positive gains recorded on Monday. Market capitalization stood at 13.205 trillion naira. Medview Air, Transco and Zenith Bank were the most traded stocks. Curtix, Custodian and Wapic led the gainers table, while Beta Glass led the losers table. That wraps up business news. Good evening.
National Union of Road Transport Workers wants Governor Godwin Obaseki not to be distracted by what it terms enemies of progress. This is the message the Edo State chapter of the union took to the governor at a solidarity visit.
These are members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers Edo State chapter in Government House to express their support to the Obaseki-led administration.
You are building roads, we are seeing it. You are rehabilitating so many ones.
and we drivers, we are benefiting from it.
The governor described the activities of the union as significant to the socio-economic development of the state, adding that government will continue to partner with it to advance their course. He expressed the determination of his administration to build more roads and promote socio-economic activities.
You can see the number of roads we are doing.
Yes.
Yes. We are not only continuing from where our comrade Oshomole stopped. You know, he did most of the main highways. Those ones he could not complete, we have started to ensure that we complete them. We have even started new ones. I want to reassure you that the government you voted for can never change.
The ban on touting, ticketing, and activities of community development associations in the state is not negotiable.
When I join Naomi in Maiduguri for more stories. Hello.
Good evening, Kudu, and welcome to Maiduguri. United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, funded by governments of Canada and South Korea, has flagged off a 2-week obstetric fistula campaign and free surgery for affected women in Borno. The project is in collaboration with Borno State Ministry of Health, where it will as well develop capacity of local surgeons. Here is the report. Having undergone screening, the affected women were moved into theater in batches carried out by a team of local and international urologists at the State Specialist Hospital, Maiduguri.
The campaign is to remind the community, population, and people that this illness has a treatment and that we can also prevent it. It's also to remind people that the causes are many and include early marriage, like child marriage, include our health system that's not able to respond appropriately when a woman is in labor.
The international fistula surgeons said a new device is used to magnify the theater in order to display the screen during the fistula repairs for the young surgeons to see and learn.
Obviously, some woman has been operated many times, and each additional time made the operation more complicated.
The women, like everywhere, they are very sad and they hope to be cured very quickly at once.
I'm very happy to stay here and to repair these shape disease.
The obstetric fistula repairs will last 12 days, and so far about 85 women have been screened and ready for theater. Towards ensuring the restoration of peace and progress, particularly to the Northeast Sub-Region, National Orientation Agency held a 2-day stakeholders meeting to come up with plans for tackling Boko Haram insurgency with community support. The NOAA review meeting with partners focuses primarily on community sensitization to create an enabling environment for peace to thrive. Jesse Tavida reports.
With the tremendous success achieved by the Nigerian military against the insurgency, the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, deemed it necessary to come together with other organizations to generate strategic plans in fight against the insurgency. Director General NOAA, Dr. Garba Abari, said the military is doing its best in the fight against terrorism, but civilians also have a role to play to ensure all hands are on deck for a return to normalcy. He added that civil society organizations, NGOs, media, and traditional institutions are critical stakeholders in handling issues relating to community support and participation. Garba Abari said the NOAA is a facilitator in peace building and in partnership with organizations such as IOM, security agencies, and other bodies to ensure that relative peace is being enjoyed by the citizens. State Director NOA Garba Yahaya Imam noted that the agency has commenced counter-insurgency activities to include dialogue and patrols, among others. In Maiduguri, I'm Jesse Tafida, NTA News.
That is it from Maiduguri. Is back to Kudu in Abuja.
Thank you, Naomi. Time to take another break. We will be back with more reports. Don't go away.
The negative impact of fake news to unity, national development and growth is a thrust of NTA Tuesday Live this week. NTA Tuesday Live promises to be incisive and informative. Don't miss it.
Sports Stakeholders Forum opens in Abuja on the Nigeria Football Federation NFF crisis. Amanzi Marcus reports.